It is 14 minutes now after the hour on a beautiful start to your Thursday morning. And with us is Sylacauga Police Chief Kelley Johnson, who is retiring in just a couple of days. Chief, good morning.
Good morning.
You counting down the days, I guess?
I've been counting down the days for a little while now, yes, sir.
What, 9 years as chief here?
In July would have been 9 years.
Yeah. So what goes into your retirement planning? When did you begin to think about this?
Well, I started thinking about it a little bit after my wife passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So, she had been my supporter, and we had plans after. And
that's very traumatic for you, wasn't it?
It was. It was. So when she passed away, I'd already been in this a little over 29 years, and so I just thought, it's time to give it up. It hadn't been fun coming to work. A lot of stress, a lot of problems that are going on now in the world with just in our department with hiring. Mm-hmm. Is a big stressor. Keeping police on the streets to make it safer here. The different crimes that have been going on, stressor. A lot of stressors this last year and a half that when it came time, I just decided, look, I can retire, make a little money on the side, mm-hmm. and try to make a living and get rid of the stress in my life.
You talk about, you mentioned the stress several times, and that can affect your health in adverse ways.
I've talked to a few officers, people that have retired before me, and they tell me that the stress relief is very noticeable. They've come off medications that they're on, mm-hmm. Those are things that I want to do. I want to get healthier, and I want to have a good long retirement.
So for a town our size, 12,000 or so people, we've had numerous homicides just in the last 2 years, and that is stress related for sure.
Oh yeah. The crime that goes on, the police chief is where the buck stops, and even though you want to make the cases, you want to get the cases solved, you want to make everybody happy that have been hurt, try to help with some of the hurt that they have, and then to see that whether you're not able to solve the case or it's taking a little longer than what you thought to solve the case, it's just it's a lot of stress involved in it.
Retaining officers, that's just something that seems like every city faces.
It is. It's a nationwide problem, not just retaining but recruiting. Mm-hmm. It's getting a little better now. We've been able to hire about 7 officers in the last 8 or 9 months. Some of those have been certified, and we didn't have to wait a long time to get them on the road. So it's taken a little pressure off, but when I leave, we'll still be 7 officers down. So the next administration will have to pick up and...
So 7 officers down. Kind of walk us through what could that mean with 7 less officers?
You have less officers on a patrol shift, meaning we're having a problem right now. It's come back up with catalytic converters being stolen. Yeah. You've got everybody wanting their property watched, but you've only got a handful of people mm-hmm. to do it. It's just, it means less security, less proactivity, which in essence means we'll be answering more calls for service, and because the officers aren't able to be as proactive.
Can't get out and meet and greet people. Huh?
Can't get out, meet and greet. They can't, they don't have time because they're answering so many calls.
Yeah. So how did you get started in law enforcement?
Well, I went to college, decided there that I wanted to do something that was fun and maybe a little, I was a little adrenaline junkie maybe. And so got my degree in criminal justice, and then I wanted to put it to use. So started working with Sheriff Evans in Coosa County.
A long time ago.
Long time ago. He was one of the longest after, or he and Jerry Studdard were the two longest serving supernumerary sheriffs in the state. And, but started with him, worked 9 years there, and then I ran for sheriff is what got me here when I didn't make sheriff there.
You ran in Coosa County?
I ran in Coosa County in 2002 and didn't make it. The guy that made it didn't want me there, so I came here.
Okay.
Chief Zook hired me in, and I'll be forever grateful to him for it. And you know, my career just grew.
You mentioned Zook, and you mentioned Evans, and you mentioned Studdard. Maybe a couple of other people that's made an impact in your life in law enforcement.
Chris Carden. He was the chief when I made captain. I took over after him. Others would be, I had a really good friend when I first started working in Coosa County, Dan Bearden. He passed away a couple of years into my career. You know, several, Donnie Landers.
Yeah, still with you.
Still with us. He's done a really good job. I don't know if Donnie will ever give it up. You know, he's great. Everybody knows him. He's kind of the mascot almost.
Really?
Mike
Drago.
Smith. Yeah, Drago. Mike Smith.
Yeah.
You know, he was one of the officers he was shot back in 1994 several times and survived and kept his career going and retired from Sylacauga. So
You talk about stress, and you know, Darlene and I have a son, Matt, who's a sheriff's deputy, and he worked with the city several years, and we always thought and have always heard when they walk out the door, you know, they may not come back, and that's a lot of stress on the leader of that group.
It is. Luckily, I've never personally been involved in losing an officer. I've been to several funerals for fallen police officers.
We're losing more officers now than ever, it seems like.
Yeah, yeah.
Violence
and car crashes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, luckily I've never been involved in one personally, but I've seen several.
So what you gonna do now after retirement?
I hope I'm not going to do anything for just a little while. I wanna have a few months of doing just what I want to do.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah. At some point in time, I'll pick up and go either pick up another job, or I've got to have some insurance somewhere down the line.
Yeah. So how do you want to be remembered as police chief of Sylacauga? How would you like to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as one that didn't just hang out in the office. You know, I hate being in that office, and I love being out. I love being a police officer. The police chief, not so much, but I think that being an officer is what I was good at. Not just because of, not just to make an arrest or to write a ticket, but to see the people, to talk to people, to interact with the people in the community, and be available and be open. And I want to be known as a good peace officer and not an enforcer or law enforcer, but I want to be remembered as being fair and just fun-loving, I guess you'd say.
I've seen you Veterans Day parades, Christmas parades. You're the police chief, but you're downtown.
Yeah.
You're directing traffic. You're helping with the parade. That's the kind of stuff you like too, right?
I love it. I love being a policeman. I love being a law enforcement officer. Getting out and doing the hands-on work, showing the guys that I'm not too good to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what I work for, to show them that I'm not going to ask them to do something that I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
Yeah. Sylacauga Police Chief Kelley Johnson, who is retiring in just a few days, 9 years as come July, would have been Sylacauga Police Chief. And how do they replace you as far as who would be the next chief? How does that work?
The replacement's going to be, it'll come sometime in the near future. My captain, who is also, I appointed him as assistant police chief. Believe the mayor's going to appoint him as an interim, and an interim police chief. He'll take over. He'll be the police chief.
Who are we talking about?
Rondell Muse, Captain Muse. He's been walking with me and learning from me over the past few years. Right when I was appointed chief, I made him my captain, and he actually ran the department for the first 10 weeks after I was promoted chief, when I left to go to the National Academy, the FBI National Academy. So he ran things. He's got a little experience with it, and I don't think you'll see anything change. I think he'll pick right up and carry it on into the time to promote a full-time chief.
Now, you're retiring now. What do you see as far as facilities, equipment, that type of thing, other than officers, that is going to be needed in the Sylacauga Police Department? You're retiring, so you can see that and say that.
Yeah. One thing that we've worked towards, and I think very near in the future we'll have, is it's a recruitment and a retention tool, will be a take-home car program. And it's not just so the officers will have free ride to and from work. It's, when our officers go to Walmart, if they take that vehicle, the police vehicle that they have, go to Walmart.
So they can't do that now.
They can't do it now.
Okay.
It's like an extra deterrent. Park it right in the front so that the people know that there's an officer in Walmart. But it also, helps bring in officers from other places, maybe those that are certified, and help us recruit and retain. One thing that we'll be getting, or that the department will be getting started with, that we got last year, it's a virtual reality training program. We were able to purchase it. We've just never been able to use it since it flooded. But VR, it's firearms, it's de-escalation techniques. It's really state-of-the-art training that we'll be able to do here, and we'll be able to allow other people come in and do it.
We got to go, but that flooding messed up a lot of stuff, didn't it?
The flooding messed up everything.
And that's been what? How many years?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're getting back on top of things. Everything's getting back to normal in the offices.
You had everybody on top of one another at one time.
We did. Everybody in one office.
Well, Chief, thank you for coming. I appreciate your friendship down through the years, and wish you the best in retirement. And stay safe, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Sylacauga Police Chief Kelley Johnson, our guest this morning on Daybreak. We'll come back with some closing thoughts right after this.